Welcome everyone to another episode of Wildcard Wednesday. It is Wednesday, April 1st, and I am Stacy Buck, President and Senior Consultant of RadRx. So today you are going to have a big treat, a big bonus. I decided to go through 20 cases today. So this episode may be a couple hours long because of that, but hopefully you'll appreciate it. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm just teasing, April Fools. I have two cases for you today. My schedule again has been so busy. I feel like I barely had time to do the two cases that I wanted to do this week since I only had done one for you last week. So let's go ahead and jump into our cases. So the first one here, we're looking at a biliary case, and we see the four main components of the procedure that was performed. We have cholangiography, that's being performed, lithotripsy, we see balloon dilation of the ampulla of Vater, and then biliary catheter exchange. So we have four different components. So let's take a look at how the procedure is performed so we can determine which codes we're going to use. So if we look at our first paragraph under technique there, well, first of all, let's go up to the technique. So it mentions that dilute contrast was injected into the indwelling biliary catheter and images were obtained. So with the images that were obtained, this was through an existing biliary catheter. So whenever you have a cholangiogram done through that existing catheter, that imaging is going to end up bundled if you go forward and you perform a procedure that actually bundles that imaging, and that is going to happen in this case. So the cholangiography is actually going to be bundled. So you see when we go down to the first paragraph under where that first technique line is, it says the catheter was cut and a guide wire was advanced through the catheter and coiled within the jejunum. The tract was dilated before placement of the peel-away sheath. And then we see that the spyglass cholangioscope was advanced into, let me go ahead and highlight this here because this is going to be our key. The spyglass cholangioscope, that is actually going to be key to our coding here. This tells us that this is an endoscopic procedure that is being performed. It is not percutaneous. So the spyglass cholangioscope was advanced through the peel-away sheath and was used to evaluate the common duct as well as the duodenum. And then after identifying multiple stones, the stones were fragmented using that device. And then following fragmentation of the stones, we see the ampulla of Vater was angioplastied with a balloon to open that up to allow passage of stones into the duodenum. So when we see that spyglass is being used, and this is becoming actually more common where interventional radiologists are doing these procedures endoscopically. Before it was pretty much, all percutaneous. Now you may see percutaneous and endoscopic with your interventional radiology physicians. So when you see spyglass being used, you want to go to the section of your CPT book that is actually right after all the percutaneous biliary codes. Following that is the endoscopic section for biliary procedures. And so that code range that you want to look at for spyglass will be 47552 through 47556. And you'll see codes will be there for collection of a specimen by brushing or washing, with a biopsy, with removal of, the calculus, with dilation of a stricture, and then also, that's without a stent and then with a stent. So those are your code options that sit there in code range 47552 through 47556. So here the lithotripsy device was being used, and this is going to be used for stone removal. So if we look at the code for removal of calculus or calculi, that's going to fall under 47554 for that part of the procedure. And there is a code for the dilation of the biliary duct, but it's for a biliary duct stricture. And in this particular case, that angioplasty balloon was used to allow the passage of the stones. So there was not a stricture being treated here. So because there was no underlying stricture noted and it was being used to facilitate passage of the stones, then we're not actually going to code with the 47555 for dilation because there wasn't a reason to perform that. It wasn't a separate procedure because it's part of the 47554. the removing of the stone. So we're only going to get one code for that. Now you are going to get an RS&I code that pairs with that 47554 for the removal of the stones, and that code is 74363. So that's going to go along with that endoscopic code there. And then we also see, after the multiple balloon sweeps were performed to move the stones, then when we look down, further, we see that a new internal external biliary drainage catheter was placed into the small bowel there. So now we're also going to code for the biliary catheter exchange, and that is going to be code 47536 for the biliary catheter exchange that is occurring. So we only end up coding for two components of the procedure, and that is the removal of the stones, which is going to be 47554 with the corresponding RS&I code 74363. And then we're also going to get 47536. Did I say we're going to code for three components of the procedure? I meant three codes. Two components of the procedure. We're coding for the lithotripsy and we're coding for the catheter exchange. But we end up with the three codes because we have the RS&I code with it. Okay, so that's case number one. So let's go on to case number two. So this is a thrombectomy procedure of the AV graft, and this particular patient has a brachial artery to axillary vein graft. And we see in the first few bullet points there, it mentions that there was an angioplasty of the venous outflow, mentions an AV fistulogram, and we see ulnar artery stenting. So, okay, so this looks a little bit out of the ordinary from a typical case that we see for dialysis access maintenance. So let's take a look at this case. I'm just going to scroll down to where we start the documentation where access was gained. So we see that access was gained into the right brachial. It is done under ultrasound guidance, but when we look at the report, we don't have the required elements for all the required elements for 76937. So I would not assign that for this particular case, but that initial access was into the AV graft. And then from there, we see in the next paragraph that an angiojet catheter was introduced for mechanical thrombectomy, and thrombectomy was performed throughout the AV graft. So at this point, when thrombectomy is being performed to the graft, we have a few code options. We have our 36904, the 905, and then the 906. So the 36904 is going to be for for thrombectomy alone. 36905 is going to be for thrombectomy with angioplasty, and 36906 is going to be thrombectomy with stent placement. So thrombectomy is performed, then following that, it says balloon angioplasty was performed throughout the AV graft. Now at this point, I'm not going to change my code from 36904, thrombectomy only, to 36905, because there's no mention here of an underlying stenosis or underlying stricture being treated. So the angioplasty balloon is being used to facilitate removal of the thrombus. So that's going to remain a 36904 for our coding. And so then we see an additional thrombectomy pass was made with the angiojet catheter. So with that paragraph, we're at a 36904. So when we go down to our next paragraph, now it says an additional graft access was obtained higher up in the arm, pointing towards the arterial inflow. And then from there, we see that the glide wire was introduced, and then it went into the radial artery. And then an angiojet catheter was introduced, and a thrombectomy pass was made up to the anastomosis. And then it says it was exchanged for a Fogarty balloon catheter, and a thrombectomy pass was made across the AV anastomosis with the Fogarty balloon gently inflated. So at this point, we still are sitting at we were sitting at a 36904. What we're about to see when we go into the next paragraph is we're going to switch this up to a 36905, because after this portion of the thrombectomy is performed, it's still of the AV graft. They've just come in from a second access. After that, they inject the contrast. It says in that last sentence on that page that there was residual stenosis in the graft adjacent to the arterial anastomosis. So now we have the documentation that we need in order to convert that 36904 to a 36905. Now we have thrombectomy with angioplasty, because when we go to the next page of the procedure, it says that the balloon catheter was introduced and angioplasty was performed of the stenotic region of the graft. So we're still in the graft itself. So we're still going to code this all as one procedure. So that becomes a 36905 for that portion of the procedure. Now let's take a look at what occurs following that part of the procedure. It says that contrast was injected, demonstrating no residual stenosis in the area, but focal thrombus was identified in the brachial artery at the bifurcation into the radial and ulnar arteries. So why do I have that underlined? Because this thrombus is located outside of the AV graft, okay? So this actually ends up being at the bifurcation where it branches off, the brachial branches off into the radial and ulnar. So that means we have a thrombus outside of the graft. And then the Fogarty balloon, which is the thrombectomy balloon, thrombectomy is performed there to treat that thrombus. So at this point, because we're outside of the actual AV graft, so the anastomosis is included, and then like the immediate area, like around the anastomosis. But when we've now come down to the bifurcation of the radial and ulnar, then that's considered outside of that area. So we're going to code it separately. So how do we report that thrombectomy there? Well, it's not part of the AV graft. So we're going to report that thrombectomy as a 37186 for that thrombus that is at the bifurcation of the radial and ulnar arteries. Then at this point, we would also pick up a catheterization code, a 36215, because we've come out of the AV graft. But wait, there's more. We're not done. So we see what ends up happening is in now the final paragraph of this procedure, the last highlighted section there in yellow, we actually see that the patient had a pseudoaneurysm and the physician elected to treat the pseudoaneurysm. So the pseudoaneurysm is in the ulnar artery. So we've now gone into, the catheter is now going into the ulnar artery in order to place the stent in the ulnar artery. So we were with a 36215 in the brachial. When you come into the ulnar, that's going to make that a 36216 because we've moved into another vessel there. So we end up assigning that for the catheterization, and then for placement of the covered stent, that is going to end up being coded with 37236. So our codes for this case, we have 4 of them total. We have our 36905 for thrombectomy and angioplasty of the AV graft itself. We have 37186 for the thrombectomy that was treated there in the brachial artery at the bifurcation of the radial and ulnar arteries. And then we also have the 36216 for the catheter being in the ulnar for the stent placement. And then of course the stent placement is 37236. So hopefully you found this week's cases helpful, and I still have a little bit of a backlog that I'm working through, but if you come across any cases in the meantime, feel free to keep sending them. So that way I don't run out of cases. I'll have a good set of cases to look at and do a couple every week. So thank you everyone, and have an amazing week. Bye.